Hello everyone, my name is Dio Lopez, and this summer I worked on a project called Keystroke Dynamics for User Identification and Verification with Dr. Belmont. So Keystroke Dynamics is a type of behavioral biometric, which basically means it uses how you behave, in this case, how you type, to verify your identity. The main goal of my project was to see whether or not neural networks could accurately tell users apart or verify if someone is who they say they are, based only on their typing patterns. Here's a little bit of background for my project. So, why use keystroke dynamics? Typing patterns are surprisingly unique to each person. Things like how long you hold a key or how quickly you move between keys are difficult to copy exactly. That means that they could be used as a security measure in the future. In my data, each key pressed is recorded with a timestamp. From these timestamps, we measure the time between presses. Since typing happens in a specific order, this is sequential data. The order and timing both matter. To work with the sequential data, I use neural networks, which are models designed to learn patterns from data. So in this project specifically, I use an LSTM, GRU, and RNN models to learn from the sequences of the keystrokes. An RNN is a type of neural network, or sorry, RNN is recurrent neural network. It's a type of neural network that keeps a short memory of previous information and is good for sequences, but it forgets quickly if the sequence is too long. The LSTM is long short term memory, which is a special kind of RNN that's better at remembering things for a long time. It has gates that decide what to keep, what to throw away, and what to pass on. A GRU is a gated recurrent unit, which works like an LSTM but is simpler and faster. It still remembers information for a long time but uses fewer gates to do it. These neural networks have various parameters such as that you can decide, such as epochs, which is one full cycle through the training data during model training. It has layers, which is a group of nodes that process information in the neural network. Then the nodes use activation functions to decide what information to pass forward. And then the two types of problems we were working with in this project were identification, which is when the model picks the most likely user the data belongs to, and then verification, which is where the model checks if the typing matches a specific user's pattern. Okay, so next I'm going to talk about the objectives. So the main objective of my project was to test whether the neural networks could accurately identify and verify users from their keystroke data. So my first task to do this was to build a keystroke logging website using Flask, which is pretty much just the back end of the website, and then JavaScript and HTML/CSS, which is basically like the interactive and visuals of the website. Next, I had to pre-process and clean the data before training the models, and then finally, or not finally, but I trained and tested multiple models, more specifically the LSTM, GRU, and RNN, on the data for 10 different users. I tried a different number of epochs, layers, nodes, and loss functions, and I evaluated and compared results to determine the best performing models. I then visualized the results with graphs to make comparisons easier. Next, let's take a look at some of the results. So the first image right here, the first graph is the GRU model, which performed pretty well in both identification and verification. It shows a high accuracy for both, as you can see, pretty much near the top for both of them, near 100%. The blue bar is for the identification, and the orange bar is for verification. Next, over here is figure 2, which is LSTM. The LSTM was pretty strong in verification still, but it didn't perform as well in identification. As you can see, the blue bar went down significantly while the orange bar went down just a bit, um, meaning it's less effective for long-term sequences. And third is the RNN, which was okay in verification but performed pretty poorly in the identification, um, which just meaning it was the worst out of the three, just because it was a long sequence of data. And finally, the fourth graph is a graph of the verification accuracy for all 10 users. As you can see, pretty much all of them are pretty pretty much at the top. This means that it was very good at telling which user was the genuine user for the verification. And next, I'll go over some of the limitations I faced while doing this project. So some of the limitations I had were training time. Training the models was very time consuming. Some of them could take up to an hour to train, and if I mess something up, it just means I had to run it again, and yeah, it was just very time consuming. Um, I had limited time to try more variations and different models, and also include more users to my experiments. Some of the users had fewer samples than others, which made the data set unbalanced, and I wasn't actually able to collect new data. Um, I had to use an existing data set that my mentor already had. As you can see here on the bottom left, I have the website I created, and I have some sample data of what it looked like when I used it. Um, Next, I wasn't able to test on different devices or environments. Our initial plan was actually to test, um, to use variations like just a laptop, a tablet, a phone, different things like that. But because of time constraints, I wasn't able to do it, anything else besides the laptops. In conclusion, from my experiments, neural networks were able to successfully identify and verify users based on unique keystroke patterns. The GRU and the LSTM models gave the strongest results, especially for verification, and accuracy generally improved with more training epochs. I actually forgot to mention that. So the first of the three bars is for 40 epochs, then it goes to 60, and then it goes to 80 for all three graphs. So that's why you generally see the graphs going up on the or the bars being the highest on the third set of bars. Um, Identification was more challenging than verification, but both are definitely possible. And based on my experiments, I can say that keystroke dynamics shows strong potential as a behavioral biometric for authentication. And here at the very bottom, I have a visual of how the neural networks work. On the left is the RNN. You can think of it as a loop. It takes in the current input and some memory of what happens before, then passes that updated memory to the next step. The problem is regular RNNs tend to forget things quickly when the sequence is long. In the middle is the LSTM or long short-term memory network. It's more advanced and has special gates, kind of like valves that decide what to remember and what to forget and what to send forward. This makes it much better at handling long patterns in data. And on the right is the GRU or gated recurrent unit. It works a lot like the LSTM but with fewer gates, making it much simpler and faster to train while still remembering patterns for a long time. Just a reminder of some of the terms that we went over. An epoch is one full cycle through the training data. A layer is a group of nodes. A node takes in input, does a calculation, and passes it to the result to the next layer. And an activation function helps decide which information moves forward. Finally, I'd like to acknowledge some of the people that helped me with this experiment, helped set things up, basically guided me through the process. So first, I'd like to thank Dr. Bellman, Belmont for his guidance um, through this process and for exposing me to all these new concepts that I had never seen before. Um, Taught me a variety of, I mean, everything, pretty much everything that I went through in this project was completely new to me. So it was a very big learning experience for me. I would also like to extend my gratitude to Gavilan College and the Department of Science at San Jose State University for giving me this opportunity to intern with Dr. Belmont. And finally, I would like to thank Rachel and David for coordinating these opportunities on behalf of Gavilan College. But yeah, thank you.